Hey there, boys and girls. You caught me in another good mood today. Luke Angel and Goddess Tempest are two of the oldest and best friends Ian and I have in this unpredictable world of RP. Everyone loves their playful, obviously love-filled play on the walls, but there seems to be something wrong in paradise now.
Right couldn't go more wrong. Written by Luke Angel and Goddess Tempest. Goddess Tempest. Tempe couldn't remember the last time she laughed so hard. Luke had gone all out on the evening's festivities. Between the food, the wine, and dancing, they had reconnected and were laughing and carrying on as if there were no time lost between them. They'd stayed at the lake all night, holding hands, stealing kisses as they danced under the stars, until the last one faded out and was replaced by the most magnificent sunrise. Luke held Tempe close, whispering words of love and adoration while watching the sun fully rise. Then he insisted it was time to go home and get some much-needed rest. Tempe slowly opened her eyes several hours later and looked adoringly at Luke. She loved the way his light brown hair was in disarray in the morning, and that sweet smile pulling at his kissable lips. Tempe often wondered what was going on in his dreams to put that look on his face. She wasn't quite sure if it were her, or if it was the pizza and sweets making him grin like that. Whatever it was, he was perfection, and it was hard to pull away from him. Slipping quietly off the bed, she motioned with her head to the furry clan that lay curled at Luke's feet that it was chow time. Plus, she had wanted him to sleep a little longer, giving her time to prepare food before they both had to head in to work for the night. Pausing at the door, Tempe looked back over her shoulder when Luke let out a moan of pleasure. She knew, deep in her gut, that she was the reason for that sound, and couldn't help the smile that pulled at her lips. The happy fur babies were fed, and she began preparations for Luke's gourmet brunch when she heard a terrible roar coming from the bedroom, followed by frantic, heavy footsteps running down the stairs. Tempe turned with his coffee cup in hand and a smirk on her face as she thought he must have run out of Twinkies or something from his not-so-secret stash under the bed. She inhaled sharply and took a step back when she saw the look on his face. The once sparkling baby blues that melted her heart were now pitch black, shooting daggers at her. His breathing had quickened, and an odd growl erupted from his throat as he approached her. He looked most like a tiger stalking his prey. She had never seen that look on his face before, and to be quite honest, now she was frightened. So much, in fact, that she was speechless, paralyzed with fear. Luke was seething. She could see it in his entire body. Tempe could actually feel the hate radiating from him. She wondered if he was possessed. Her faculties returned to her. She stopped her cooking and took a step back as he took another one forward. With her hands held up, showing surrender, she asked him softly, "Baby, what's wrong?" Luke Angel. That's right, he thought. Be afraid of me, goddess. You think that my love protects you from my wrath, but you have no idea what you've done. She looked as if she got it without verbal explanation. She actually hesitated before putting the knife down, apple slices scattering and a few falling to the floor between them. Don't pretend you have no explanation. He advanced, and goddess, don't you dare act surprised. The degree with which she could keep a straight face only fueled his rage. He stepped forward, following her retreat, and looming over her, ice-cold fury ran through veins that felt taut and stiff. The burning sensation was all over him now, radiating throughout his weakened body to pulse at pounding temples. His hands fisted and released. just to break through the thrall of ungarnered emotions, and he was wrapped in anger and this new thing, physical pain. The combination was more dangerous than even he knew, and this time the goddess was in real trouble. Her feet suddenly froze. She was struggling to lift her foot and unable to do so. He smirked with disbelief. At least something was left to him. He had power, maybe most of it, but it did not soften his surety that she did this. She had done it before, and it was one of the reasons he could never fully trust in his own feelings. For all these years it loomed over him that if she wanted, she could force him to do practically anything. Her power lay in the desires of others. She could exacerbate them. The more he loved her, the more he risked giving her his own free will, the most coveted gift that not even God would seize. His eyes darted to hers as she unnaturally bent backward from her spot, her body supported by nothing at all but his thoughts as he took complete control of her. Arms locked down, all she could do was follow him with confused, teary eyes. It took her a bit longer to speak again. He lifted her higher and placed her on the bar top, never laying a fisted finger on her, but only piercing eyes that needed her to explain. He would not give her the satisfaction of feeling the fear also gripping him. "Luke?" she asked. He leaned in, his face above hers, close enough to feel her breath on his lips. "What did you do?" he whispered. The sensations coursing through him were becoming distracting. He did not have much time. He couldn't leave just yet. He had to know first. Goddess Tempest. Completely and utterly confused at his behavior and accusations, Tempe wasn't sure how to answer that question. The look in his eyes told her to be very careful with her answer, or pay the consequences. She took a deep, ragged breath, her heart pounding out of her chest, as the vibrations from his ire emanated around him. Deep down, she knew that she could turn the situation around in a heartbeat, but she'd made him a promise so very long ago, never to use powers of persuasion upon him. If he didn't back off and get out of her face, though, she was going to have no choice. Tempe spoke softly to him. "Luke, I'm not sure what it is that you think I've done. Maybe if you tell me what it is I'm being accused of, I can give you the proper answer you seek." She slid herself back on the counter and tried to sit up straight, to put some distance between them. That was when she felt his unseen pressure pushing her shoulders back, preventing her from sitting upright. Tempe never realized just how much power Luke actually had. Then again, she had never seen him this angry. "Damn it, Luke, let go of me. Tell me, what the hell am I supposed to have done?" The moment the words left her lips, she regretted speaking them. His jaw began to twitch as he ground his teeth, and his eyes darkened even more, telling her she was about to face a complete and utter shitstorm. Hell, she wished she could be like the fur babies who had now scurried from the room, likely found shelter under the couches and beds. Unfortunately, she was not able to join them. She was going to have to sit here and take the brunt of it all. Luke Angel. Now, if I knew that, I would not be in this trouble. Hell, Tempe, I have remained at your side for millennia. What the hell did you do? Luke actually screamed at her. His head jerked away, and he suddenly realized something more was wrong. Hard emotion assaulted his mind, tearing thoughts from him he'd never expressed or even felt, but they seemed to be all that was holding him together. Bitter, resentful anger. She had to be the reason. He was raw. His life had been innocuous up to this point, and he was much too old for a game changer. He was devoted to guiding and comforting the tragedies of others, not his own. He absorbed pain, sure, He empathized to the point of their broken heart consuming his. But what he has awakened now, inside him, churning, is so much greater. It was personal anguish. He peered at her, one hand now fisted in his hair, his other slamming on the bar top over and over while he recounted to himself the evening. He closed his eyes to her and had to think. We went to the boathouse restaurant. Dinner was good. I don't feel ill in any way, and the goddess is not ill. We danced, we laughed, she laughed. It had been a long time since he was able to do that. He drove her home, no wings, just a normal evening. And as always, they kissed, they teased, they hinted at more, and then he shut it down. The goddess is normally perfectly pleased with that. He makes up for it with romance, he tells himself. Maybe she didn't feel the same? He recalled holding her very close. As she watched the sunrise on the horizon, he finger-combed her hair, kissed her neck. He had her wrapped under his arms and wings, whispering that he loved her, reminded her of all that she meant to him. But of all those things he'd done before, why was this different? In their home, yes, they sleep together, yes, they're naked, yes, he kisses her, and yes, he notices the color changes over time in his feathers. And he always knew that was the price. But no, nothing like this had ever happened. He was never punished so severely. "You lying bitch," were the foreign words he spat at her as his eyes flew open. Again he came to the only conclusion he could. "They're gone, goddess. My wings are gone. You need to tell me what you did. You need to fix this." He was furious and beginning to lose the little control he had left. "There's nothing to see, so stop struggling." He let her rise, but he disappeared and reappeared across the room. He could not let her touch him. He didn't want her sympathy or her cackle. Whatever she had done, he would not let her gloat over him. When he had awakened, the pain was enormous, but no wounds were visible. Only the memory of his glorious wings, unlike any others, variegated in brilliant colors that belied their true meaning. Gorgeous from base to tip, he loved them. They were his true inspiration. He was unique. He had significance. And now he was stripped. His soul was... now what? Human? Was he even an angel anymore? He seemed to have his power, but how long would that last? Was it only a matter of time before everything was gone? The questions rapid-fired in his head. Goddess Tempest. Tempe gasped at the venom in his words. He called her a bitch. How could he possibly think that she had anything to do with his wings being gone? She loved his wings. His awesome grace was just another reason that she had made that promise to him so long ago. She slid off the counter when he disappeared. Across the room, standing there looking at her, she could see the despair in his eyes, but now she was pissed. How dare he accuse her of doing something so devious? Her hands rested on the counter as she tried to rein in her temper before speaking to him. "Luke, you know I had nothing to do with the disappearance of your wings. How could I? Why would I? I've done nothing but be patient with you and let you make the call on when and if you would fall. You have the audacity to stand there and call me bitch when I've changed my ways and have complied with all your wishes. If I'd wanted to, I could have taken you down long ago. Why would I do it now?" She began pacing back and forth like a caged lion. She was pissed as all get-go. How dare he think these awful things about her? Tempe kept the kitchen island between them, not wanting to be in arm's reach of him if he decided to go off the deep end. Though she knew he would never physically hurt her under normal circumstances, This was way out of the norm for them, and it was big. He wouldn't look at her when she spoke to him. In fact, as she continued to speak, he turned his back, and that was when she saw that the wings were actually gone. She felt an intense pang in her heart when she looked at his smooth back, and her anger dissipated. Temper under control, she cleared her throat and spoke to him again. "Luke, please look at me." He kept his back to her, ignoring her plea. "Damn it, Luke, would you look at me? You have to believe that I had nothing to do with this. Why would I do something so horrific to you? Why now, after all these centuries?" She took a step around the island and started for him. He glanced over his shoulder, and the pain in his eyes crushed her soul. He shook his head and shrugged his shoulders. He didn't have any answers either. Tempe wanted to hold and comfort him, but when she reached out, he pulled away with a hiss, as if that's what caused all of this in the first place. And then, without warning, he poofed completely from the house, leaving her standing in the kitchen, alone and confused. This story will have to be continued.